What's going on, you guys? It is the Talking Sasquatch, and it's great to have you back. Now, I got my first laser a few months ago, and I've been having an absolute blast learning how to use it and making all sorts of cool stuff. So I've made things out of wood. We've got this Talking Sasquatch on both sides cut out, kind of cool. I made dog tags, so we have the Talking Sasquatch on the back. It has the Don't Be a Skid with a QR code. That came out awesome. And I love these. This leather patch, that I couldn't have come out better. But the one thing that eluded me that I really wanted to make were coins. Now, you see, I've got a 20-watt diode laser, and while they can cut through things like wood really well, it can't really cut metal. And of course, what are coins made out of? But metal. So when the folks over at ComMarker reached out and asked if I wanted to try out the new B6 20-watt fiber laser, of course I said yes. Now, it took a little bit of figuring out because I'm brand new to fiber lasers, but after a few failed attempts, I finally was able to get my first laser cut coin. So this was my first attempt. Now you can see it's a little bit off center, that's my mistake, but it did actually engrave and it looks pretty cool. And then here's my second attempt. It actually fills up the entire coin this time, and it's a little bit deeper. I think it came out really cool. So today I'm gonna give you my first impressions on the ComMarker B6, and I'm gonna show you how to make deep engraved coins to yourself. I rode the struggle bus, so you don't have to. Let's go. Alright, so first impressions, putting everything together was super easy. They sent me the enclosure as well. Took a few minutes to put together, but no big deal. The one thing to know about the enclosure though, which I didn't know beforehand, is that there is no bottom to it, which makes sense. It makes it easier to just put the entire box over the laser than to try to somehow build the laser inside the box. But for this reason, I actually had to put this on the floor because it wouldn't fit on the bench that I was trying to use. So now we're part of Floor Gang. No big deal. The instructions that it came with were mostly adequate. There's a door sensor for the enclosure, which I actually couldn't figure out how to install because it's not even mentioned in the instructions. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a theme for this laser because there's not a ton of documentation for it, or at the very least, I couldn't find it on their website. Now, the laser comes with a USB stick that has the drivers for it, which made installation super simple, and it comes with EasyCAD 2 for design software. Although the one thing that was kind of funny is that it's actually an evaluation version of EasyCAD 2, so technically, you're supposed to pay for it. Now, I knew I wanted to use coins, so everybody that I saw, all the tutorials, they were all using Lightburn. So I grabbed Lightburn on an evaluation copy and set at it. Now, one thing to note about the ComMarker B6 is that it's actually not Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, anything. You have to plug it in directly to the computer you're going to use with USB. One of the things that I liked about my X-Tool laser is that it came with an entire ecosystem and wireless capability, so I could work from any computer I wanted to, and it just made life a little bit easier. Plus, the X-Tool software was really easy to learn. I started designing immediately. Now, Lightburn is an extremely powerful tool, but it's a little bit more aimed towards the power user, which, unfortunately, that wasn't me. In fact, I'd say that my entire experience with the ComMarker B6 is that it's a higher level laser than I was prepared for. And that's where I struggled with this machine for a while. You see, this has automatic focus, which is a fantastic feature. However, I think either it came out of focus or I accidentally unfocused it because that's where all my problems were, and I spent days trying to get coins working with the brass. Now, I did reach out to ComMarker a few times and they gave me some help with it. However, communication was a little challenging. Now, I work with Chinese companies all the time. I know there's like a 12-hour time gap, and with a language barrier, sometimes things can be challenging. However, I gotta say, I was a bit disappointed. They sent me a unit for review, and when I was struggling with it, I had nobody to talk to and no documentation that I could find. So, when you can't talk to anybody and you can't RTFM, what are you gonna do? Figure it out. So I fired up Lightburn, I told it to continually engrave a circle, and then I threw a coin on it. I started moving the laser head up and down, until I finally got something to happen on the coin. Once I figured out the focal length, now we're in business. So that's when I started actually having success with these coins. So yeah, if there was one thing I'd say about the ComMarker B4 is if you are a power user, if you already know how to use lasers, if you already know how to figure out focal lengths, you already know how to use Lightburn, then definitely this could be a good laser for you. But if you're like me and you like companies like Bamboo Lab and X-Tool because they bring all the tools you need to the table immediately, it figures everything out, it's kind of like the easy mode, then this might not be the laser for you. Now that being said, the ComMarker B6 is a really good laser. It's extremely fast, it's got a small form factor, it's got great resolution, so if you know what you're doing, you can do some really cool stuff with this. So if you want to take advantage of ComMarker's Black Friday sale, follow the link down below and use code Sasquach, that's SASQUACH, for 5% off. Alright, so let's make some coins. But first, a quick segue to today's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for PCB design, manufacturing, CNC, sheet metal fabrication, 3D printing, and more. I've worked with PCBWay time and time again on different projects, and those guys are absolutely awesome. Like, check out this absolutely gorgeous clear case for my LilyGo T-Deck. They've got components, they've got tools, they've got cool gadgets. Sometimes I just look at the module store and it inspires me to make new projects. So head on down to PCBWay.com and see what they have to offer. Thank you so much, you guys are the greatest. Let's get back at it. All right, so the first thing that we need when we're gonna make a coin is a design. Now, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I am a fantastic artist. So of course, the tool of choice among all amazing artists is Midjourney. So let's hop on down to the desktop and I'll show you how I made mine. So now we're down over at Midjourney, and I actually was following a tutorial by a guy named Justin Laser. Check out his video linked down below. Now you can mess around with different prompts to get different stuff, but basically you want to have a bas relief style round emblem with white background. Very important. Now you're going to want to mess around with different prompts. You can see I made a ton here, and some of them are cooler than others, but I finally settled on this guy right here. It's got great detail, it has a good amount of contrast, so I thought that would work really well when depth mapping. So we'll just go ahead and save this image. I already have it saved on my desktop, so I don't need to do that. Cancel. And then we're going to go over to depth-r.com. So then all we have to do is click the upload button over here. We're going to go ahead and find our, let's see, I already have the depth mask, I made it before, but open up your coin and it's going to generate a depth mask. So just click generate depth map. It's so hard to say depth map for me. Sorry guys. And in a couple seconds, it'll have it. Here we are, just like that, depth map. Okay, so now that we have our depth map, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to load up Photoshop. This is my image editor of choice, so you can use GIMP, you can use almost anything. I'm going to create a new file. Because it's in my clipboard already, it's going to have it the exact right size. And just go ahead and paste this right here, because I don't want this black part on the outside. I'm going to delete that. Shut up, updates. So very simply, we're going to go ahead and select a circle. Let's select right about here because it doesn't take up the entire screen. Hold shift to make sure it's a perfect circle. And then let's try to adjust this right for the middle of this coin. Yeah, that looks good to me. I'm going to do the old select invert, which is Control Shift I on Photoshop. Delete that, and there we have a nice round coin with a transparent background. Now, another thing that's going to make this a lot easier for us is to crop this out exactly. I'm just going to grab a couple rulers right there. There we go. And right there, just to touch the corners, so I know exactly where to put my mouse to crop this. Get it right in the middle of the two rulers. There we go. I think that's good. All right, click, hold shift for a perfect square. And if we do it just right, there we go. We've got a square there, image crop. Now we have our coin pretty much exactly the same size as the box. Fantastic. File, export. Quick export is PNG because it doesn't really matter the file format here, as long as it's something that Lightburn's going to be able to know, which works here. And then we'll just save as clear coin because that's what I called it last time. Yes to replace. Fantastic. We're on our way. So now we're just going to go ahead and close out of this. Don't need to save it. And we're going to load up Lightburn. So here is Lightburn. Let's go full screen. Now, Lightburn, again, is not a super simple program. It takes a little while to learn it. In fact, I still don't know how to do almost anything in Lightburn. However, I've practiced a few things and I know how to do this. So we're going to do two things. We're going to go to File, Import. Come over here. File, Import. We're going to import that coin. Desktop. Here's our clear coin. It's going to be massive, like super massive. No problem. We're going to actually just go ahead and change this size already. And we're going to change the size to 36 because that's what fits on my coin. Perfect. What we're also going to do, which helps me out a lot, is if we click down here on this orange T1, that means tool layer. I learned this later. We're going to draw a circle. Doesn't really matter what size because we're going to go over here and change it to 36. Press enter. So these are both the same size. I'm going to select, whoops, this is the circle tool still. Control Z, use my pointer tool. I'm going to select both of these and go to arrange and then align. Align centers. There we go. That's what we're doing. Fantastic. So now with both of these and they're aligned. Why are we doing that? Well, what that allows us to do is if we go over to frame, now we can click on tool layers only. What that's going to do is going to change the framing laser from a square to a circle, which I found made it a lot easier for me to align with the coin. So here's the secret sauce. If we go up to here, this is what we need to do. So first of all, speed is going to be 1000 millimeters per second is what they recommended. I wanted a little bit deeper engraving, so I slowed it down a little bit and set speed to 500. And I set my power to 90. Now, individual results may vary depending upon everything, but this seems to work pretty well. Very important, select the image mode to 3D sliced. Extremely, extremely important. You definitely need this. Number of passes. So I did 100 passes, and basically that just means how many layers it's going to cut. I also set up my scan angle to 45. There we go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just click OK from there, and yeah, you're pretty much ready to go. From there, you just start lasering, and this one took about 2 hours, I want to say, to finish, but it came out really nice, I think. So yeah, if you want to make coins of your own, definitely go check out Justin Laser's YouTube channel. The guy's absolutely awesome, and that's where this tutorial came from. All right, thank you guys so much. I just wanted to do a quick review on this laser and show you how to make some cool stuff yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are absolute legends. We'll catch you next time.